Man, I remember when Leon Washington came back to play the Jets. That was really intense for me.
I liked him. Good player.
You know, look, it was an out-of-body experience for me just to see Tom Brady on a field in New England wearing a uniform that wasn't a New England Patriots uniform, and we knew it was coming. We were one of the shows that just talked about it ad nauseum last week, and proudly so, because it's one of the biggest revenge games that we've ever seen in in North American sports. And the question is how much of revenge really was it? You know, not everyone was wearing anything on their sleeves last night. And if it was, it would have been washed off by the rain. And it was just weird for me to see Brady out there in a Buccaneers uniform out on the field coming out of the visitors' locker room in a spot where he was for 20 years and winning 6 banners in that building. And I can only imagine what it was like for him. It had to just be totally weird. And I bet you deep down today he is relieved that it's done.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
Anybody who's had a wedding or a bar mitzvah or a confirmation or anything, you look forward to it. It's really, really intense. You try and soak in the experience, but once it's over, you're like, all right, let's get back to normal life right now.
Yeah.
I can only imagine that's what Brady must feel like today.
Yeah.
And Belichick, too. And Kraft. And everyone in the Patriots organization. Mm-hmm. And Patriots fans. Like, okay, that's done with.
Yep.
Because, and the Bucs, it's just like, okay, you know, it's a team effort. Bruce Arians even said last night, you know, it's Brady versus Belichick. You know, I mean, there's 22 guys out there on offense and defense for us. You know, 52-man roster, 53-man roster. That said, how many times do we on this show and do you taking in this show hear on shows out there, well, it's Brady versus Peyton Manning, Brady versus Breeze. We saw that 3 times last year, Brady versus Breeze. The number of times that we saw Elway and Marino and Montana versus fill in the blank. And those guys are never on the field against each other, ever. Mm-hmm. They are trying to answer and respond to the other person's performance, but never really out there. I mean, when the Ravens and the Titans hooked up in last year's playoffs, we had Eddie George and Ray Lewis on because it's rare to have. Those are the matchups, like running back coming downhill, Hall of Fame linebacker trying to fill the gaps, and they meet. But when you're talking quarterbacks, you really never see that. Like you could talk about a defensive end or a defensive tackle or a receiver with a corner. But last night really was, in my estimation, Brady versus Belichick. Or Belichick's, as Steven got some run last night.
His tongue got a lot of run.
And you take a look at Brady versus Belichick. All week long, it was like Brady versus Belichick. Brady wanted to stay. Belichick didn't want him. Belichick wanted Jimmy G. Brady wanted Jimmy G out. Kraft wanted Brady happy, but he needed Belichick happy because Belichick is the all-time great coach. And it was, you know, that was the verses all week long. And then the game happened. And the versus was Brady versus the Patriots defense as coached up by Bill, Steven, Belichick, and the rest of that staff. And that was what football can be so great about. I mean, football, obviously, it's a physical game, and we love the physical nature of the game, which is why we get all crazy about these targeting calls and whose fault is it, and the head is down, and does it hit the strike zone that they saw when they actually tried to make the tackle. We love physical plays. We love seeing the ball broken up. We love seeing big hits and big tackles when they're legal. But it's such a cerebral game, too. And that's the beauty of the brains and the brawn together on a field and a team aspect. And that's what we do love about football so much. And last night, I'm not an all-22 guy. I can't sit here and explain to you, the shells that were being put out there and the dropping back into coverage or coming here and all of that. But you could definitely tell that Brady wasn't getting the same look from the defense pre and post snap in consecutive snaps very much last night. Collinsworth pointed out that every ounce of Brady's brain matter was being used up to figure stuff out. And who knows Brady better than Belichick, and who knows Belichick better than Brady? And that was a matchup last night. Now, again, the players have to execute, and Matthew Judon is incredible.
Good day.
I mean, what a terrific football player he is. And the rest of the Patriots defense doing their job. And Brady trying to figure things out, and the patience that you have to have as a quarterback that the Manning cast showed over the last couple of Monday nights is that the defense baits the quarterback into trying to be too aggressive. Will the quarterback who wants to throw and make big plays hand the ball off when the defense dictates it? And how often will the quarterback do that in a row when the defense dictates it that much in a row? That's the stuff we saw last night. And two guys who had been in an office meeting room together and film rooms together for 20 years. Now, practice being practice is one thing. This is the real deal stuff. And then the kid on the other side, who the Patriots are now putting their full faith and credit into, and Mac Jones, 19 straight completed passes. He seems to have mastery of the offense as it is being run, and the defense dictating to Mac Jones, the Tampa Bay Super Bowl winning defense, dictating to Mac Jones, you have to throw it because we sure as hell aren't going to allow you to run it. -4 yards rushing.
Yeah, the line can't block anybody.
It was,
tough.
but you got to step back and you got to get that quick game out. And Mac Jones appears to have that thing down pat, not making many rookie mistakes at all. And the first touchdown of the night belongs to Mac Jones. And who responds to Tom Brady coming down the field and scoring in the second half? But Mac Jones, looking like Tom, getting the ball out fast, looking like an offense that New England is used to seeing, efficient, mistake-free, difficult to defend, the quick passing game. Unbelievable. And could you believe it? With one answer after another, it becomes a field goal game because Brady can't get the ball in the end zone. 0 touchdown passes for Tom. That hadn't happened all year long. 51% completion percentage for Brady, his lowest completion percentage as a Buccaneer. And the last time he won a game with 51% passing and 0 touchdowns was as a Patriot in week 4 of 2019 against the Bills, who he, used to own and might still again later on this year. You never know. Or not. And it comes down to a Belichick coaching decision. Who'd have thought that? Who'd have thought that? Would it have to be like, well, Mac Jones is getting blown out. The red wedding, as Tom Curran thought it would be. Didn't happen. Didn't materialize. New England did its job. Mac Jones did his job. Defense did its job. Frustrating Brady, making sure that Mac Jones wasn't going to give Brady that much of a short field. The special teams wildly did at one point. Or, pardon me, the one of the running backs, whose name escapes me right now, fumbled a ball on a pass, gave him a short field. At any rate, comes down to a Belichick coaching decision, which allows us to second guess one of the greatest coaches of all time. I don't understand why when his quarterback has 19 straight completed passes at one point in the game and had an interesting throwaway in the end zone, don't make a mistake, because he did get the 3 points that you needed. And with 50-some-odd seconds left in the game and 4th and short, you don't send your rookie quarterback out there to make another short pass. You send your kicker out there, and Nick Folk, who had made 36 consecutive kicks in a driving rain, a 56-yarder. Long enough, but not accurate enough. What a night, man. Loved the game. Smart football, fascinating football, intriguing drama throughout. Brady did get the record most passing yards all time with Drew Brees in the house, and they were in hurry-up mode, so the ref, Vinovich, ran the ball out to him, and he's just like, yeah, great, take it, and, you can do something with that one. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.